As I said earlier, I left for Libya in 2015. Although my primary destination was Libya, I had no intention of going to Europe through the sea. I had no intention. My intention was just to work in Libya and come back home after some years. So when I got there, I was trapped. You know, even before I left the country, I didn't know that Libya was a lawless country. I was not aware then. So when I got there, I was trapped. I got to know that human rights are being violated because unfortunately for me, I was in prison for something I do not even know about. And lack of medical attention, lack of access to phone calls. Like it was just all our human rights were being violated in the prison with beatings, like serious beating. That's just it. And even when I was even kidnapped by the militias, when I was kidnapped by the militias, that one was actually very worse. I was sexually assaulted. I was also beaten. I was stabbed with a knife and every other thing, just so that my people can pay ransom. They were demanding for ransom of about 500,000 naira then. So all those things, those were basically my experience then. And even after I survived those militias, that was when I decided that no, this is not a country I want to be. I want to go back home and just sensitize my people that it is not right traveling to this country where there's nobody to protect you, where there's no rule of law. It is not right.
And once you decided to go back, how was it possible? I mean, did you travel back on the land or did you fly? How was it possible?
When I was coming back, there was limited flights, so it was very hard. So what I did was I bought TC, that's emergency travel certificate from our own embassy, our Nigerian embassy over there. Then I traveled through Niger, but there was no flights to bring me directly back home. So I had to travel through Niger. Then when I got to Niger capital, that's Niamey, I had to come back through road until I got to Nigeria.
How was it to return to Nigeria? I mean, what was it like? What did you feel once back home? And then what kind of decision did you take once back home?
I was happy. When I got back home, I was very happy. Like I was happy. I could sleep very well. I was just happy because I knew there was no one to violate me again. I didn't have to be scared or anything. So I was very happy. I was calm. And the decision I took was to start enlightening people on the dangers of this thing. So I went to NAPTIP office. I explained to them what I went through. I told them I want to volunteer with them so I can campaign under their wing. So I started campaigning, raising awareness, shouting, going to schools, going to churches, telling people of the dangers of traveling irregularly. And at first, people were not believing me. People were blaming me for making the wrong decisions. People were shaming me, but I was not even bothered. So I kept talking, and gradually last year, people started listening. There was an increase. Even my following increased. People were listening. People were calling me to ask of information. People were asking the right questions. So I think the decision I took then it's beautiful. It's very, very beautiful because it's yielding now. It's yielding. Then
Yeah.
people entering Libya has reduced. It has reduced. It has reduced significantly. There's a significant reduction, yes.
Yeah, and so do you think that this may be the result of all these campaigns of a rising consciousness?
I am very sure it is the result of all the campaign. I am very sure because a day, at least 4 or 5 people send me message, ask for my opinion that I want to go to Libya. What do you think? And I discourage them. In motor parks that they use as transit routes, we have volunteers there. When they see potential victims, they counsel them. This place you are going to, you are endangering yourself. Go back home. They go back home. So it's as a result of this intensive awareness and intensive campaign.
Yeah. So what actually human trafficking consists about nowadays? I mean, do you think that the migration from Africa to Europe currently can be called as a natural phenomenon?
Oh yeah, I think when you interview most Africans and ask them about why are you traveling, they say it's poverty, limited job opportunities. That's the same excuse. But one thing they don't know that Africa is blessed. We have everything we need to survive. So risking your life for a journey that you are not certain of is not worth it. The only natural phenomenon that they will just say is poverty. And it's not worth it. It is not worth it at all. The journey, the migration from Africa to Europe is not the solution to the problem they are facing. Migrating from Africa to Europe through the desert, through the sea, it's not the solution to this poverty. The solution to the poverty is we have to sit down as the youth of the country, we brainstorm, we look at what we have and how we can make use of it. So if you ask me, migrating through Africa to Europe is a dumb idea. It's not what it's very dumb.
I see. So, for example, here in Europe, some people have an idea about traffickers as helpers. So just somebody who is helping somebody else to move, to travel from one point to another point. Do you think this is a correct idea about human trafficking?
What I say is that trafficking is a big business. It's no longer a menace, it's a business that people are feeding from. People want it to keep happening so that they can get money from it. Because they know that the more they're pushing people to Europe, the more projects they can release. And from those projects, they can get something for themselves. So they are not helping these victims. They are helping themselves because of what they get from it. That's what I just see. I see it as a big business, that they are trying to get their own from it.
And what is your idea about the European communication based on open ports and welcome refugees? I mean, seen from Africa.
The thing is that I see it's a welcome idea if you ask me. It's a very beautiful idea, trying to save refugees, trying to save trapped victims, trying to help them. It's a beautiful idea. But now let's look at something. How many refugees can you help? What I believe is the permanent solution is put a stop to it. Let there be an end to this. It's a game, and we are the one losing. We, the migrants, are the one losing in this game. Go to the prisons. Can these NGOs, can they come to the prisons and get everybody out? No. We Nigerian government, can our government go to the prison and get everybody out? No. When there are 10,000 people and you can only help 1,000, what happens to the other 9,000 people? Why are you sacrificing the lives of 9,000 persons for 1,000? That's not the solution to this problem. That's not the solution to this crisis. I don't really, it's a good thing. I know it's a good thing they're trying to do, but the result is what matters. The result of the effort you are making is what matters. So it's, for me, there has to be a better solution. There has to be a better solution.
So we know what is the influence of some, let's say, European social media pages that are followed by people in Africa and people in Libya. But for example, sometimes I find some groups that they claim to be migrants groups on Facebook, and they are, for example, using words like better to fight something than live with nothing. Or another one was take the risk or lose the chance. I mean, even here in Italy and in Europe, there are many Africans that actually are trying to promote this kind of migration. So, I mean, what is your opinion about these people?
I just see them as selfish people. I see them as very selfish people that only care about themselves, just like me. My own campaign is totally against migration. My campaign is totally traveling the irregular way. I'm totally against it. And because of that, I have made lots of enemies. Most of these Africans you keep talking about, they will ask me, what's my business? Why am I discouraging people from going in and every other thing? Because I'm trying to do the right thing. Those people, I see them that because they are selfish, because they were able to get help. They were able to get people helping them. So they just diminish the risk. Like they are not bothered. They'll tell you just take a risk. If you die, you die. Is that a good thing to say? How can you see fire and you're telling someone to enter the fire that he or she might survive it when you definitely know that this fire will burn the person? They are very selfish. They are really, very selfish. It's only their own intention they have at heart. They don't have good plans for other migrants. They're only concerned and worried about themselves. They are not worried about the other migrants.
Yeah. So I don't want to, let's say, put you into our own Italian debates, but you have watched the movie, The Scream. I am the director of, and I mentioned about the problems that this movie found here in Italy about the distribution. So what is your opinion about the movie, and what is your opinion about the reasons that can be behind this effort of censoring
I
this
think the
document?
movie should be allowed to hear. The movie is a good. I've watched the movie. I've watched the screen. It's a good movie. It's a movie that is actually telling the truth, the plight of migrants that are trapped in Libya. It's a movie that is bringing the truth to light. You know, when you keep sharing stories, these things are happening in Libya. These things are happening in Libya. People will tell you it's a lie. People will tell you it's not true. So now that there is a movie to show that, yes, these things are happening, these things are real, it should be allowed to air.
Yeah.
I consider it totally unfair for anybody to just block the production or the share or the distribution of the movie. The script should be allowed to air. It's a good movie. I've been in Libya. I've seen how it is. It's what is going on there. Is it Ayenzara prison, Abu Slim prison? Is it Osama? The way they treat blacks, they enslave us, they sell us into prostitution. So what is the lie? There's no lie in it. Let the movie be. Every country has its own rules before you can enter. Every country have their own rules, their regulations, the documents you need, the protection you need. So the best thing is every country, all African countries should ensure they educate their citizens on what is needed to embark on the right journey. The sea is not open for anybody to travel on. It's an illegal way. Every country should let their citizens know that you cannot travel by the sea. It is illegal. Get your visa, get your passports, get your tickets, and go by road. And go by flight, rather. That is the best way to travel.
I see. You know, some people here from Europe would say that basically migration is a choice out of necessity. So even when there's no possibility to reach Europe, people will push and push anyhow.
Going through the desert, the sea, it's not an excuse for what we are going through. It's not an excuse for what is happening in Africa. We can still do it the right way.
Yeah, but some Europeans would say that Europe don't allow visas easily for African citizens. So that's the problem.
There are a lot of African citizens migrating through study, through work visa. They will keep trying. We'll keep exploring the options. We'll keep exploring the available options. Africans are still traveling the right way. So let's try it. Let's try. When they deny a visa, we look for the reasons why the visa was denied and try again. The only thing I see is that we love the easy road. We want the easy path. We want the easy path. We don't want to go through the visa stress. And I don't think that's good enough.
I see. Last question. I would like to go back to concretely to the work you are doing on the ground. So, as far as I know, you are, for example, meeting, as you mentioned, communities, going through villages. So, how is the response? What kind of mentality you find? What kind of idea people have normally about migration? And also the other side of work you are doing, if you can mention about it, which is this about in a way enable the accounts of the traffickers.
Okay. When we go to villages, to schools, to churches, and talk to people, we see that they have limited information about migration. They don't know what is going on. Some people don't even know the meaning of visa. Talk more of how migration goes. Some don't know anything about trafficking. So that's the gap we try to fill. We keep telling them, this is how to do it. This is not how to do it. Accept this offer. Do not accept this offer. So that's basically what our people, especially in the core villages, in rural areas, they have limited information about what is going on. So we try to bridge the gap. We try to tell them that, okay, this is how you go about it. This is how you don't go about it. And for the other part of my work, the traffickers are not happy with it because since I keep discouraging people, I keep telling people that don't accept that offer. These people are wicked. They will sell you into slavery and all that one. It makes me their enemy. Naturally, I am their enemy because they believe I am trying to ruin their businesses for them. So that's just the other advantages, disadvantages of what I do. It comes with threats, it comes with insults, with curses, and every other thing. But aside that, I believe the work is going on very well.
Great. And do you think that the Nigerian government is supporting this kind of activities?
Yes, they are supporting this kind of activities because as at last week, the Director General of NAPTIP, that's the agency in charge of woman trafficking, exploitation, and all that, she called me. She was happy with what I do. She was impressed. That's just it. Nigerian government are actually very, very happy with this. The same thing with our embassy over there in Libya. Sometimes we talk on the phone. I express my challenges, my concerns for them, and they take it up. So yes, the Nigerian government is very, very interested in this.
So this means that they will try to help also Nigerians to come back home now.
Yes, through the IOM's project, the free flights, Nigerian government tried to bring people back home. And especially this year, there has been 3 flights. And this month alone, 3 free flights has come from Libya to Nigeria. So that means about 500 persons have been repatriated. That's a good one if you ask me. That's actually a good one.